the best possible prices with the meat that's actually on sale. So I think we officially have everyone back on Google Hangout. So you should be able to see me. You should be able to hear me. Took a little bit. I have no clue what was up, but I currently have 2 mics now. So if you can't hear me, 3 when you add in the one that's part of my laptop, doing everything under the sun to help people hear me. But welcome back. Hopefully you can. With grocery stores, again, I want to stick with what's in season. So to quickly go over those seasons before we talk about some grocery store things we never want to touch. Obviously, Thanksgiving is turkey season, and we've got roasts and other types of large meats that we're going to eat together in groups. That's the holiday time. I am not going to look for a deal on turkey outside of Christmas, Easter, and Thanksgiving. So that's kind of where we want to stick only once a year or 3 times a year, really, if you think about it turkey-wise. So big holidays, that's when we're buying turkeys. It's really also when we're buying ham. Very rare to find a ham sale outside of Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter. Occasionally, you'll find a portion of a ham. So we'll find, the shank cut hams or one type of ham that comes on sale, but not a ton. So I wish there was a way for you to kind of even know when to spot those. Those are rare. Those are kind of like the grocery store just randomly got ham in the middle of June and they don't know what to do with it. But that is not normal. So turkey and ham, just following holiday sales. Grilling season, come Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day. I'm going to get really, really great deals on all of our grilling foods. That's really the best time of the year to buy steaks and to stock up on them. I'm not going to see super great deals on steaks in March. I'm going to see them in June. After Memorial Day, or Memorial Day weekend is when it all starts, through Labor Day. So kind of think about that so that you really are focusing on buying things at the right time. Meats have a season, just like produce, where we don't really think about that for the rest of the things in the store. Hamburger Helper does not have a season. Meat and produce do. And it doesn't mean that, that was when the cows were ripe. It just means that that's when people normally buy it. Other things that fall into that grilling season are also our barbecue meats. So if you really like Boston butt or the pork shoulders, any of that, I want to look for the best deals on those between Memorial Day and Labor Day. After Labor Day, we kind of have a meat lull, I guess. There's not a lot of big grilling seasons left. We're all kind of in football mode. So we do still see some football-y foods. We see chicken wings, hot dogs stay on sale kind of all year round. But those types of items stay on sale in the fall. And then outside of football food, not much. So I really do want to focus on what I can when it's in season. Fish is a good question that a lot of people get. Fish tend to get us to focus on them maybe once a month. It's not really a season with fish, but it's more this week of this month, we're going to have some good salmon sales, that kind of thing, but only tend to be once a month in each grocery store. So I want to get enough if I can, if I'm in the grocery store. So some things to stay away from grocery store wise, with meat items, because they'll run some tricky sales that are intended to look great. And to pick on Publix, this is in the Publix ad that starts on the coming up Wednesday or Thursday. So the Publix ad for this coming week has shrimp skewers. Took me a second to remember their name. On sale for $1. They're 2-ounce shrimp skewers for $1. And you're thinking, wow, it's $1. Anything that's $1 sounds like it should be a good deal. Hold up and do some math. This is where we go to like basic algebra again. And we start to think, well, okay, if 2 ounces cost $1, how much does 16 ounces cost? Which 16 ounces is a pound. So I want to look at the pound price of the shrimp, which is really what we would pay for. I want to skewer my own shrimp if that's really what it's going to come down to. So this price per pound in the Publix ad comes out to be $8 a pound for shrimp. It's not a horrible price, but it's not really a great price either for fresh shrimp. We can usually get more like $6.50 to $7 a pound. So you're paying to have them skewer your shrimp for you. And that is a small example. We'll also see Publix put on sale salmon fillets. It's not the entire salmon. It's not it's not a price per pound. It's a price per each. And all of a sudden, when you start to see this price per each, I'm going to start to realize that the salmon, when we do the math, comes out to like $16 a pound. I don't care that you have marinated it in honey bourbon. It isn't worth $16 a pound. So never in grocery store mode pay for meat at a price per each. That's just kind of like just the massive thing to look for in the ad. So if I'm going through the Buy Low ad or the Publix ad, Winn-Dixie, wherever you're shopping, you'll see this almost at every grocery store from time to time, that steaks aren't on sale for price per pound. Steaks are on sale for $5 each. And then it'll say down in tiny print, average weight is 8 ounces. Well, that's half a pound. And I'm going to pay $5 for half a pound of steak. That means I'm paying $10 a pound for the steak. That's not a deal. So stay away from anything that is a price per each. Another one, Shanice is saying on Facebook, I agree with this one. They say that, this week lobster tails are $5. Next week, they're 2 for $10. It's the same price. So their goal is to make you think it's on sale, but really and truly, it's not on sale at all. So we have to kind of learn how to avoid grocery store sale issues, I guess. I don't know, just their gimmicks that they try. And they don't just do this in the meat department, by the way. They do this in every department. So don't really feel like you figured out meat and then walk to another department and do the same thing wrong there. There's, I don't know, you just have to be careful. And the biggest one, Shanice is right, they love to pretend that we can't do math. So all of a sudden you get things that are, corn is 6 for $2 instead of 3 for $1. The math is constantly changing so that you're having to keep tabs on what in the world the price is. Most of us don't walk around with calculators. And while we would love to say that we can do quick math in our head, we can't always. You throw in 3 or 4 kids in my buggy and I can't always either. And I'm a crazy person who skipped my high school prom to go to a math competition. So yes, some of us can handle some simple math, but most of us can't, even in the fly of the store. Some things to look for in the store though, so I don't want to knock them. There are deals in the grocery store. However, like I mentioned earlier, though the poor people in Google Hangouts couldn't hear, there are ways to save outside of the store. So quick recap on those. One is buying direct from the processor, like a chicken plant, etc. One is buying in bulk from a restaurant supply store like US Foods, Gordon Food Service, Restaurant Depot. There are a lot of restaurant supply stores. And by the way, I didn't mention this earlier, but with those restaurant supply stores, I don't have to own a restaurant. Anybody can shop there. There's no membership fee. This is like a Costco or a Sam's, but it's geared towards people who own restaurants. You don't have to own one though to shop there. So I can go in and buy that case of 40 pounds of chicken and just be a normal shopper. I don't have to show them a tax ID number or anything like that. If you're kind of confused by that one, anybody can shop there. With the chef store / Gordon Food Service or Restaurant Depot too, someone asked about Costco. So to kind of pair that in here, they don't sell that chicken in any smaller package. If I go into a restaurant supply store, they only sell it in a 40-pound box. That's exactly how Zaycon is also going to handle it, which is the third option, ordering from Zaycon Foods, which is Zaycon fresh.com. With the restaurant supply stores, they only sell it in the bulk cases, and you're going to go in, you're going to grab the bulk, and you're going to leave. I'm not going to go in and be able to get 5 pounds or 10 pounds like I could in Costco or Sam's. So that's the difference there between the warehouse clubs, that and I don't have to pay a membership fee. So that's a perk. But in Sam's or Costco, I could get a smaller amount. The hard part though is that the price in Sam's or Costco isn't actually always the best price. So yes, TC, there are some that do require a tax ID number, and restaurant depots in some cities do, and in some cities they're actually different. They're not the same chain, and they don't. So you'll need to find out from your restaurant supply store, whatever you happen to have, do they require a tax ID number? But a little tip there, they don't actually require that the tax ID number be for a restaurant. So if you have any small business, anybody can really get a tax ID number. If you have someone who comes and cleans your house, you can get a tax ID number. It doesn't have to be a business that you've created it for. So you can get one for free. I don't even have to ever use the tax ID number, but I can get one from the government that's not my social security number. That's really what a tax ID number is created for, is to protect you kind of as like another option. If I don't want to give out my social, I can give out my tax ID number, and that's just fine. So some people actually do that if they have someone come and clean their house, or they have a household employee, is how that's worded on the IRS's website. But you can get one if you don't own a restaurant. So if that's your only option, don't let that hold you back. But back to Costco and Sam's. So I could go into Sam's and Costco. I can buy meat, technically not in bulk, though they do have a case price, but you've got to ask them for whatever that case price is. But their meat prices in the warehouse clubs are the same exact prices as the grocery store sale. So for example, Publix is going to put boneless, skinless chicken breasts on sale for $1.99 a pound. That's the regular price in Sam's. I had to buy a membership though to get that price that I could have gotten in Publix had I just waited for the sale. So that's where I would never get a membership to a warehouse club just for meat, because in the end, it's not going to pay for itself. I would have gotten the same sale without the membership had I just waited for the grocery store sale. So Marisol asks, what's the buy price in terms of price per pound for chicken and beef and pork? So chicken for me, boneless, skinless chicken breast, I don't want to pay really more than $1.69 a pound. You will never see that in the grocery store. So the only way to hit that price per pound on chicken is to buy in bulk from one of the other two sites, the Direct or from Zaycon or from the US Foods. In a grocery store, my buy price for chicken is $1.99 a pound. And that does like every 6 weeks or so that we see chicken on sale. It's not in every single week that I can go in and get chicken for $1.99, but we can do it in the grocery store. And then you just want to stock up because it's going to be a little while until I see that price again. Beef, it depends obviously on where we're going, because beef's got a lot of different cuts. So ground beef for me, I want to be able to get for less than $3, and that's going to be for a much more lean ground beef. So from Zaycon, for instance, that's where we get most of our ground beef. From Zaycon, I can get their 90% lean ground beef. They'll run sales and coupon codes. We got it for about, I think it was $3.29 a pound the last time that we grabbed it. That's 90, actually that's not even 90, it's 93% lean. It's only 7% fat. Yeah, 93% lean ground beef. A more higher fat content, so the 80-20 ground beef, for me at the restaurant supply stores, I can get for about $2.50 a pound. I can't hit that in the grocery store ever. Grocery stores for really 80-20 is more like $3.50, and really lean meats is more in the $4.50 range. So just keep that in mind for what a grocery store is going to hit. Pork, I don't want to pay more than $1.99 a pound for a pork tenderloin, and we tend to cut our own pork chops. So I'm going to wait until the pork tenderloins are on sale, and then I'm going to come home and be my own butcher. And I would recommend that for a lot of other ways to save on meat in the grocery store. So we want to stock up when it's on sale in the grocery store, but sometimes I don't always see the sale for the type of meat that I want. So grab what I can grab and come home and go ahead and cut it into what I can use. So if I can find pork tenderloins on sale, so it's the big, almost like a pork roast, pork tenderloins on sale for $1.99 a pound, then I'm going to come home and just cut those up and I've got pork chops. If I can find a more, a different kind of roast, it's not our normal kind of roast, then we cook it a little differently, or we cook it longer. But we can definitely switch up and get a different type of meat than we would normally get, or cut up that meat if you want. Kimberly also mentions that a lot of stores will cut them up for you. Yes, any store that has a butcher in-house will gladly be your butcher. So if you don't want to cut your pork tenderloin, you can buy that pork tenderloin at $1.99 a pound. They will slice it up and put it on a tray, and you will still pay the $1.99 a pound. They're not changing anything about it if you ask them to cut it. And since we're on that topic, I would actually encourage you to look at their markdown meats. And they may not even be markdown meats that you would regularly want. They may be roasts that you would never cook, or cuts of steak even that we wouldn't normally eat. But I can get them to turn that into something else. So ask the butcher to take this, markdown steak. Can you cut this up so that I can use this into a stir fry or a pot roast? Cut them into pot roast chunks. And they can do this in a matter of minutes. It's not going to take you a really long time to wait. But now I have your markdown meat, and I've got it in a form that I'm going to use, versus you coming home and hopefully doing that. But a lot of times we don't. We come home and we're just completely overwhelmed. We plan on doing it, but you're trying really hard to get everything put away. And Barbie, you're asking, what's my thought on markdown meats? I am all for them as long as they look the right color and they aren't super out of date. I think it's a great way to save a lot of meat. Look for those extra stickers that they put right on the meat. So it usually will say manager markdown, or if you're in Bilo or Winn-Dixie, it's going to be a big red reduced sticker. And then find out from your butcher when they tend to do their markdowns, because most of them tend to have a certain day that they do a lot of meat markdowns. A Kroger in our area is always on Monday. So for us, when we used to live near that Kroger, that was just part of our Monday routine, was to run in and let's see what they marked down today, because we could get such huge deals on so many different types of meat, and then put away everything that we possibly could. Kroger, Bilo, a lot of those stores in the Southeast run really big meat markdowns. If you're a Publix shopper, you will spend the next 10 years of your life trying to find markdown meat in Publix. It doesn't exist. So Publix does not mark down their meat, just so you are well aware of that before you go in and try to ask. They don't do it. Instead, for Publix, you will go in and you'll find right by the butcher's window, they have ground beef, and the ground beef is labeled market ground beef. What that is that Publix took all of their markdown beef and they reground it and they put it in as market ground beef. So that is Publix's way of having markdown meat, is that they've turned it into something else, which is fine. I can get a really good price on their market ground beef from time to time. I just need to keep tabs on that section, because they do put it on sale as well. But that is what market ground beef is. And you want to get kind of smart if you're a Publix shopper and study that ground beef. So I don't just want to grab the first pack that looks to be the size that I want it to be, but I want to remember that those packs are actually different cuts of meat. So I want to look for a ground beef, market fresh ground beef that is more red, less on the white side, because then I probably have a lean roast or a lean steak that was just reground into ground beef. And now I've got a lean ground beef that's going to cost a lot less than an actual marked lean ground beef. So kind of study the meat before you just grab the package and put it in your cart. They really are a little bit different. So Christopher says, I only live near a Food City, a Food Lion, a Kroger, and a Walmart. So who has the best prices out of all of those? Christopher, honestly, the smaller the grocery store, the better the meat prices. So if I were to really pick, Food City is probably actually going to have the better prices when it comes down to actual meat deals. And that's the case across the board. So if I've got, in Columbia, for instance, where I am, we have a couple random sprinkled IGAs throughout town. IGAs are individually owned and operated. They are not part of a chain at all. They cannot bring in the mega event promotions of Kroger or the full nationwide sales of Walmart. They have meat and produce. And that is what a tiny grocery store banks on to try to get you in the door. Even if you see those tiny grocery store commercials on TV, that's what they tend to put in their commercials, is all meat and all produce, because they know that that's what they can mark down. They have the biggest control over price on that. So that's what I would push you to look at first, is to look at the Food City. So I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. Shanice, not too close to Columbia, Tennessee, but still similar stores as most folks in the Tennessee area. Let's see, the restaurant supply stores, again, to mention those, as someone on Facebook asking, they are brick and mortar, they are not online. So US Foods Chef Store is in Columbia, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, and they're building a couple more locations. Gordon Food Service is in a number of cities. They're definitely the larger restaurant supply store option. There's Restaurant Depot, which someone did mention in the comments, does require a tax ID number depending on your Restaurant Depot, but the Gordon Food Service and the US Food Stores do not. So making sure that you are in the right place and you know where you're headed. But those are the three big ones in the Southeast. Okay, so I think we've hit everyone's questions so far. Make sure I've got everything I had for meat. One thing before we move on for meat, because this one also applies to produce, and that is I want you to buy in bulk. You're gonna get a better deal buying in bulk, but we need to be able to put that up. So we've talked in previous Q&As about vacuum sealing, and no one's mentioned it yet, but if we're looking at putting up a ton of meat and we want it to last longer than a month, we really don't need to be putting that up in Ziploc bags. No offense to Ziploc. Ziploc's a great company, but their product isn't intended really for you to put something up in a Ziploc bag and leave it in your freezer for months on end. So that's really where you want to look at getting a vacuum sealer if you can. We have a Food Saver, which is the name brand vacuum sealer, and there are deals on it from time to time. The best deal, if you can't wait for one, is in one of two places. Kohl's sells them online. They don't have them in all local Kohl's stores, but they do sell them online, and I can use a Kohl's coupon with that. So wait until Kohl's runs their 20% off your entire purchase, or $10 off 30, or whatever we can find, and pair in that coupon. The 20% is usually the best option when they run that, and they don't run it all the time. But if I can wait until Kohl's is running a 20% off and they're offering Kohl's cash back, I am going to get the best possible price on a Food Saver. The other store that I would recommend is Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond regularly has a 20% off. I can go on their website, I can sign up for their emails, and they will send you a 20% off right away in your email. So going to Bed Bath & Beyond, I have an immediate 20% off on the Food Saver. I'm not gonna get the Kohl's cash back like I would if I had waited for a different Kohl's sale, but the Bed Bath & Beyond is any day. I don't really have to wait for the sale or the coupon code because they always have the 20% off available, and they sell all the big Food Saver brands. And then on a recent call, I don't know why I call these calls. Y'all haven't called me. I really called you, I guess. A recent Q&A, I mentioned that we had gotten some off-brand Food Saver vacuum bags from Amazon, and we were trying them out for the first time. Now, it hasn't been a month or anything like that. It's been more like 3 weeks since we packaged all these up. But in terms of using the off-brands, they were super crazy cheap on Amazon. I think the package that came probably equals about 4 to 5 packages of Food Saver rolls, and it only cost maybe $10, where one package of Food Saver rolls is like 20 to 25. So crazy good price for vacuum sealer bags. That's really, or vacuum sealer rolls is all I searched Amazon for. The bags worked great to get seals. We didn't have any difficulties, and there were some reviews of people saying that they didn't seal well. We had no problems. Put up 40 pounds of chicken in like 25 minutes. No issues whatsoever with seals. And they did great in holding a vacuum. We're about 3 weeks in. None of them have broken. None of them are showing signs that they have lost their vacuum either. So I'm very content so far. But I'll kind of chime in and give you a good full 3-month view on that, since that's really my goal. A vacuum bag needs to last me at least 3 months in the freezer, because when I buy chicken in bulk in a 40-pound box, that's about how long it's gonna last, is about 3 months until we're needing more chicken. So if that vacuum bag can't last me 3 months, then it's not doing what it needs to do. And the Ziploc, long story short on that one, is never gonna last you 3 months. It wasn't intended to last you 3 months when it was created. So just so you realize when you're putting out food, this is possibly another purchase, but one that's well worth it when we're talking about, having freezer burnt meat that you did spend money on. I don't really want it to be a waste. Barbara's got a question in the Google Hangout. Where can we find the best price for grass-fed beef? So Barbara, you are a great one for another way to get fresh beef. I'm not really going to find this on the chicken side of things, but for beef, we can actually buy directly from a farmer. And for grass-fed beef, that is hands down, Barbara, what I would recommend you to do. And Jill's saying, you know, farmers markets as well. So we're going directly to the farmer, however you want to look at it. But Barbara, what I would encourage you to do is look in your area for a beef farmer and see if they will allow you to buy a half a side of beef, a quarter of a beef. You don't want a whole cow. So if you have ever looked into buying meat or beef in bulk, a whole cow will fill a chest freezer. It is about 500 pounds of meat, and it's gonna last you probably 5 to 7 years to eat. We don't need that. Half a side of cow, maybe. I don't even need that, and I have a lot of people in my house. A quarter of a cow, definitely. A quarter of a cow will last you a year, maybe a little less. So we've got our 250 pounds or 200 pounds of meat. That's really where I would aim for you to be about. Why I would encourage you to do this. You're gonna pay one flat price per pound to the farmer. So grass-fed beef from a local farm, the last time we made phone calls, which I haven't made them this year, but in the past when we've made them, came out to be about $3.15 per pound. That's before the butcher costs. So we have to throw in a cost for the butcher, but that's also usually a flat rate. So we pay, you know, $50 or whatever that farm's rate is for the butcher. But we pay a $3.15 per pound rate on the beef. That's gonna include everything. That's $3.50 for ground beef. That's $3.50 for steak, whatever, $3.15, sorry. Whatever type of meat you choose to make it. And when you choose to get a whole side of beef, I get to decide how I want it cut up. So I can decide that I want mostly roasts and mostly steaks, skip the ground beef. I don't need, you know, if that's the case too. And then another one, Barbara, folks are mentioning Fresh Market for grass-fed beef. So Fresh Markets, Whole Foods, Earth Fairs, they all sell those and you will see them go on sale too. But I'm gonna probably say even going direct to the farmer is probably the best route for you in terms of the cheapest price, but you're gonna have to look at going bulk for that too. Okay, so I want us to get to produce before we run out of time. We spent a lot of time in meat, which is fine because it's really where most of your budget is going. Meat costs a ton of money. So to figure out how to save on any of it is a big way. I guess one more thing before I move on for meat, as we look at the prices in buying in bulk, people tend to panic because buying 40 pounds of chicken, even at $1.10 a chicken breast in the US Foods Chef store, you know, you're still looking at 45 bucks worth of chicken, and to fit that into your budget this month is hard. So what I would recommend if you're looking at getting into buying meat in bulk so that you can save more on meat is to get into a habit where you're buying one meat a month. So this month I'm gonna buy chicken, and that is gonna be enough chicken to last us 3 months. Next month I'm gonna buy ground beef, or I'm gonna buy maybe 10 pounds of ground beef on sale and some roasts and some steaks. And then the third month we tend to rotate. So the third month for us could be pork, it could be fish, but I'm buying one meat a month so that my budget isn't freaking out when I go to the US Foods Chef store and start buying all the meat that you can't do that. So we want to kind of split it all up in that sense. In terms of someone else, Barbara on Facebook is chiming in for you too and said they just bought half of a grass-fed cow and it was the best purchase they ever made. So I would encourage you to go into the bulk side of things if you definitely can. It's gonna save you a lot with it. And I'm glad to see everyone chiming in and saying that y'all went to the unclaimed baggage store this week. I had a lot of fun there on Friday. If you didn't see it, I was live in the unclaimed baggage store in Alabama for like 30 minutes, walking around, just sharing random deals. But I'm glad y'all made it, and I hope you found something that, or at least made the trip a little bit more fun. How much should we expect to pay for half of a grass-fed cow? So Jen, we're talking a lot of money. To buy half a cow is not something that I could decide in June to do and turn around and do in 2 weeks for most of us. You're looking for grass-fed beef. I would plan on paying maybe $4.50 flat price per pound, upwards of 350 pounds. Quickly getting out my calculator, that's like $1,500 for half of a cow that is grass-fed. Mind you, that half a cow of grass-fed beef is probably gonna last you a year, if not longer, and that's 350 pounds of meat. But that's what I would be looking at doing. So $1,500, most of us cannot just walk out tomorrow and decide to do this. I'm gonna need to budget this. So you wanna start saving now, basically deciding that you're gonna do this in the future. But just so you've got some idea as to where it's gonna go. And some farmers will actually let you pay in pieces. They won't make you pay the whole thing all at one time, but you'll need to figure that out with the farmer that you're working with. Okay, produce, so that we don't, not get there. And we had a whole Q&A on how to save on meat. But produce-wise, I mentioned with the meat, we want to stick with what's in season. Definitely with produce. I do not need to be in the grocery store buying strawberries in the middle of October. Strawberries are not on sale in the middle of October. Strawberries are really off sale now. Strawberry season's over. We are still occasionally seeing them on sale for $2.50 per pound, but Publix is really up to $3. Other grocery stores are even higher. So we want to stick with what's in season. Right now, season isn't a lot of fresh fruit. It's vegetables. There aren't a lot of summer fruits. Fruits don't like the summer season except for blueberries. This is blueberry season and blackberry season, so go crazy there. It's kind of always banana season since they don't come from the US. But most of the things we're gonna get in season right now are fresh produce vegetable items. So our squashes, our green beans and cucumbers, tomatoes, all of those are in season right now. If I'm in a grocery store, hands down, I have to stick with what's in season. But to save the most on produce, a lot like meat, I would encourage you to get out of the grocery store. The price difference between a farmer's market and a grocery store is enormous. I mean, it just will make you never want to buy fresh produce in a grocery store again because the price is so much better in a farmer's market. And I don't mean the little guy on the corner of the street. I'm not talking about a stand. I'm talking about you went to a major farmer's market and I bought in bulk. So I'm not gonna go in and get a little tiny bowl of peaches. I'm going in and getting a basket of peaches. That's our goal here, is to get the most amount possible and then buying it in bulk, split it up with some friends. If you can, joining a produce co-op or a CSA farm, those are going to be huge savings for you. So again, I'll say that again in case you missed it, a CSA farm. CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. This is where you basically buy a share in a farm and they bring you a box, and your box size will differ based on the size of the share that you purchase. But they bring you a box every single week or every other week of whatever was fresh right now at the farm. The difference between a CSA farm and a co-op. So a CSA farm, I get whatever that farm planted. I don't have a lot of say. I was not the person planting. I am just the person helping to pay the bills, basically, by buying a share in the farm. We have done this in the past, and the farm that we purchased from, I didn't really research to see what they planted. So our box included a lot of radishes and beets and crazy things that I don't even know how to cook and I don't want to eat. Convincing your children to eat beets when you don't like beets just because we needed to eat them, they came in our box, that was not a fun night. Even though it was mama sitting at the table going, look, my tongue's bright red, you should eat your beets too. Like, I don't really ever want to do that again. So with a CSA farm, I urge you to email them, call them, whatever. What do you plant? How much of it do you plant? If all that they're naming is vegetables that you never want to eat, don't buy a share in their CSA farm. The other option is a produce co-op. And a co-op, usually I've got a little bit more say as to what I'm coming home with. A co-op is where a whole bunch of us got together, we pooled our money, and then we bought our produce in bulk. And then we split that up between all of us. So for us, we have someone in our church that started a produce co-op, and we all pay $22. We bring our laundry baskets, we line our laundry baskets up, and then divvy up whatever produce was bought in bulk. If you don't like something that ends up in your basket, then you can take it over here and switch it out with everybody else, kind of have a little exchange system to end up with things that you will eat versus the things that you won't. So I would encourage you to look towards a co-op first. If you can't find a co-op in your area, then a CSA farm. Tiffany's asking, how do we find out if there is a CSA farm near us? So Tiffany, there's a website. They used to be really helpful. I don't know if they still are because I haven't used them in a while. But the website that I would recommend is called localharvest.org. So localharvest.org. And if you head to Local Harvest, and I'll even type it in right now just to make sure it still looks the same. If you head to Local Harvest, you can put in your zip code and it will tell you who in your area you can direct buy from. So what farms are near you? Yeah, I just put in my city and immediately I got the one huge CSA farm there at the top, and then a number of direct farms that I can buy straight from, locally family-owned farms. So localharvest.org to kind of figure out what in your area. And then farmers can actually make places for themselves. So if you run your own farm and you want to figure out how to get your vegetables and whatnot in front of other people, you can place yourself on Local Harvest too for folks in your area to find you. But that's what I would recommend you head to first. So I want to Google either, that's going to work too, CSA farm, Columbia, South Carolina, but Google or look at Local Harvest to find a CSA or a co-op. And then to give you an idea of prices, there's a website that you can go to that I've really just shrunk. So the website is a shortened URL, but it's so.svrs.me/market. So it's so.savers with no vowels, svrs.me/market. And this website, if you go there, will show you a printout basically of everything that was on sale today at the federal market in South Carolina. I know you don't live near South Carolina for most of you, but there are only 19 federal markets in the US. So this gives you an idea of what's being sold in the South. The next closest one in the South, there's one in Atlanta, there's one in Miami. You can find those reports, but I will warn you, it takes a lot of digging to find each city. So just go with this one to give you a general idea. I can see what's there and the general cost for it. So right now, to give you an idea, we've got blackberries on sale. I can get 12 pounds of blackberries. Thank you, Cece. It's hard for me to type into Facebook and talk at the same time. But even if you don't live here, Anita, it's still going to help you see what is currently fresh. It's so.svrs.me/markets. I can see what's currently fresh and the going rate for it at the farmer's market. And how that's going to help me is that I have some idea as when I walk into a farmer's market, and yes, you don't live in Columbia, South Carolina, you live in, middle of nowhere, Alabama, or whatever it might be, you still are buying from one of two people. I am either buying direct from a farmer, or I am buying from someone who already bought direct from a farmer and is now reselling to me. And folks don't always like that fact, but a lot of people in farmers markets aren't actually the farmer, they are resellers. So I want to know what they paid. Well, the price at the federal market is probably close to what they paid, because farmers are generally going to get the same price for their produce all over the Southeast. If they got a higher price at a different market, they would all go to that market. So it's not really how it works. They're going to get the general same price for that commodity. So the website again, so.svrs.me/market. And it is in the comments. CC put it in the comments. So if you scroll through, you should be able to find it there too. So to show you guys, and I'm going to screen share for all my folks on Google Hangout what this looks like. This is a printout, literally, that's what it reminds me of, is like a dot matrix printout of what was on sale today at the market. And you'll see blackberries are on sale. I can get 12 1-pint containers of blackberries for around 20 bucks. Yes, that's 12 pounds of blackberries. No, I don't need 12 pounds of blackberries. I could freeze them, or I could split them up with some friends, but that's gonna come out to the price of about $1.66 a pint. Blackberries are on sale at Publix right now for $3 a pint. You see where I'm going here? That is 50% more than than you would get in the farmer's market, 50%. It is nice of Publix to have bought them and to let me buy them one at a time, I guess, but I don't really want to pay 50% more for my produce. And that's just one example. There are a lot more, and it is a little tricky, obviously, to be able to tell. Let me scroll down just so you can see some other things. You know, how many pounds are in, you know, a bushel basket. It can't always tell that versus the price in the store, but I can tell you this, one half of a bushel basket of peaches currently is 13 bucks at the farmer's market. Peaches in the grocery store are still at the $1.50 to $2 range. I could get 6 pounds of peaches in the grocery store. I promise the half bushel basket of peaches is more than 6 pounds of peaches. So you get, I mean, how much the savings is. So the printout will definitely, I guess, open your eyes to how much the grocery store costs a lot of money to be in. There are some occasional grocery store sales that are decent. And let me see if I can find corn. So sweet corn right now, 4 dozen sweet corn are on sale for $14. So let's do the math, because corn this coming week, I can get 4 dozen for $14. So 14 divided by 48, or sorry, let's go, yeah, 14 divided by 48 is about 25 cents a piece. And that's actually the price that's going to be on sale at Publix, starting in the new Publix ad on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on where you live. So there will be moments when I hit the farmer's market price in the grocery store, but that one right there is a rare moment. And I hope you all go in and you just go insane buying corn in Publix. Like, just pretend that you live in the farmer's market and buy that much corn when we actually hit a farmer's market price. But using that SoSavers.me/market report kind of helps me to spot that. I know, oh wow, this really is a great price in Publix. That's going to be a rare moment, but you will occasionally see it. So I want to stick with what's in season, and I want to buy in bulk, which does mean that I want to put some up in the freezer. With most produce, we can Google how to freeze it, but keep in mind, most produce doesn't just get cut up and put in the freezer. Most vegetables do need to be blanched first. So I can't just take squash and stick it in the freezer. I need to blanch it and then put it in the freezer so that it comes out better. Believe me, it comes out a lot better if you blanch before you put up. Same with corn, anything else that we're putting up. So Google is your best friend there. Just Google how to freeze corn, how to freeze squash, and it'll walk you through. The blanching time is different for a lot of these vegetables, but just so you know what you're doing, blanch them, vacuum seal them, or a Ziploc bag them, but remember that a Ziploc bag is only good for about a month. Vacuum seal them and then stick them away, and they'll be good for a really long time. Okay, I want to go back and make sure I didn't get all the questions, miss anything. Jill's got a question. If you live near Winn-Dixie or Comment and you sign up for their baby club, they send you coupons for baby items, and that includes coupons off of meat. So Jill, I'm going to take that and even apply it to our Publix shoppers. Publix and Winn-Dixie both have a baby club. You should definitely sign up for it. Even if you don't have a baby, I get to be an aunt tomorrow. So even aunts and uncles and grandparents can all sign up for the baby club. They do not have to be the one primarily taking care of the baby. But when you sign up for the baby club, they do send coupons. The coupons tend to be off of diapers and wipes and other things, but there's always coupons for milk and meat and other items that are thrown in on the baby club sheets. So that is a great way to get some extra meat coupons. Other meat coupons that are currently out, so just to throw in a few before we kind of hang up for the night, a huge one in terms of grocery and meat savings is coming this coming weekend to Target, July 2nd through the 4th. So that is Saturday through Monday. Target has an in-ad coupon for a $10 Target gift card when you buy $50 worth of groceries. It's only going to be good Saturday through Monday, and that's going to be good on fresh meat and fresh produce and anything else you wanted to grab from the grocery section. So that right there is a 20% savings. You may not think about it and just it being $10 back, but if we bump that to $100, you're saving 20. That is 20%. So a $10 Target gift card when you buy $50. The coupon is in Target's ad that came out yesterday, but you can also get it by texting Target. I can't remember the word to text though. So it is in the database though. If you want to go that route and head to Southern Savers, I can head there too really quick and type it in. There are numerous coupons all week at Target for all sorts of different things, and you text them a different word each week to get it. So let's see what this one, yeah, oh, there we go. This is an easy one. Text Target the word grocery. If you text Target the word grocery, you will get the coupon. The coupon does expire on July 4th. So to text Target, in case you never have before, Target's number, let's go old school, think 1980s here. And remember how phones used to spell things if you typed them out? So Target spelled out in numbers is 827438. And if you didn't catch that, just think Target and then go to your keypad, and it still has numbers or still has letters on it. Spell Target, 827438, and text them the word grocery. And that will get you the text message coupon that you need for the $10 gift card on any $50 grocery purchase. One other insight on that one, if you have the in-ad coupon from the Target ad, from Sunday's ad, some stores will take that as a competitor. So I can take that to Buy Low. You can take that to Publix if your Publix views Target as a competitor. And I can actually get a Buy Low gift card or a Publix gift card using that Target coupon with my $50 grocery purchase. So I don't just have to use it at Target. I can possibly use it other places depending on what your stores are. The Baby Club, Tiffany, was in Winn-Dixie and Publix. Both stores have a Baby Club. Both of them are available on their websites. So I would head to both of the stores' websites to sign up. A few other ways to save on meat. We do see meat coupons from time to time, and one store other than Target that's putting out a lot of recent fresh produce and meat coupons is Whole Foods. Every single week in the Whole Foods app, the Whole Foods app on your phone, they've been releasing new coupons to try to entice people to get the Whole Foods app. And in the past few weeks, we've seen $5 off your $15 purchase, $5 off of fresh produce, $5 off of fresh meat. So if you're near a Whole Foods or you're looking at organic or grass-fed or anything in that realm, you definitely want to check out the Whole Foods app to get those specific coupons. They do change every single week. So this week could be really boring, but I want to keep the app on my phone and just check back. They load new coupons every Wednesday. So just keep checking back to see what the new coupons were that Wednesday for the next week. But it is a way to save even a little bit more. It may not even be your normal store, but it might be on the way home and worth quickly running in to save $5 off a $15 purchase. That's 30% off of whatever you grabbed. Find some on sale or clearance meat. You've really got a deal pairing those two together. So that is meat and produce in a long nutshell, but we covered a lot. And I think in terms of all my notes that I had taken, so we didn't miss anything, we hit it all. We will not have a Q&A next Monday night. It's July 4th. So enjoy July 4th, enjoy time with family, but we will be back the following Monday night for a Q&A, and I will have 97 microphones out if that's what I need for Google Hangouts to work correctly. But thank you guys for all sticking with me on the Google Hangout side, and hopefully on Facebook we got your questions answered too tonight. I hope you guys have a great night, and I will talk to you in a couple of weeks.